And welcome to Animate. Make sure that you've got the program loaded onto your computer, of course. Make sure you have followed the instructions in the back of your book, downloaded your files. I like to use the Get All Files simply because then I've got everything and I don't have to download each individual lesson. And then set yourself up your WIP folder so that your works in progress is ready to go, and you will then move the expanded version of your interface into that file. I've got two files in there because I've worked this through already. You'll only have the one. Before you work through that, however, I do need you to set up the workspace. That way you're going to have all the tools that you need. You're going to be able to find everything. Otherwise, it's going to be a little difficult working through the chapters. So we are going to use the customized workspace that they're going to create. We're going to start off by using the essentials. So make sure that you've got that. You can go through resetting the essentials if somebody else has used the computer. If it's your own, it won't change anything. And now you're going to go in. I'm going to work through the Windows. Mac people just follow the instructions in the book, but I am going to go in and edit my preferences. So I'm going to go into Edit and find Preferences. There we go. In the general settings, you can select whether you want to have a dark or light background on your interface. I prefer the dark, your choice. We want to make auto collapse checked, and then you can select OK. I'm not going to go through the exploring of the panels. All of the panels are going to be pretty similar to what we've worked with in all of the other Adobe products. We are going to set up a few changes, however. You can expand and collapse panels as needed. You can expand this out all the way to show all the names. You can take it down to a comfortable level. You can watch as the names will disappear. Any place in between is fine for you to use. So expand that out all of the way. Control click the title bar above the docked panel icon and make sure that your auto collapse is toggled on. Click the Align Panel button, and if you click off, you will see then that will automatically close. Double click the header above the column of panel icons, and double clicking the docked column header will expand the panels or collapse them. Okay, we can expand it out. It's only going to go down so far. There's a minimum possible width. So make sure that that's where you're set at. Click the Motions preset and drag that away from the dock. And then bring it back below the Libraries panel. You're going to have to drag that way down to the bottom. You'll get the blue line, and that way you will dock that back again. Click the Library Panel tab and drag it down until the drop zone goes back again below the Motion preset. Okay, so that wasn't all entirely necessary. Double click the Library Panel tab to collapse the group. Hold down your Control key and right click the Swatches tab and choose Close Tab Group. Do the same thing to close Align Info Transform, and do the same thing to close the Library panel. Next, on the far right side of your workspace, you're going to click to grab your Tools panel and drag that off to the center of your stage, and you're going to find that that's going to turn into a nice square. We are going to drag that over now and put that on the left hand side of your stage and drag left so you have only one or two columns. I'm going to drag that down to a single column. It will only go down so far, and that way I'll be able to keep my stage large enough, but I will have my tools all on the left side of the screen, which is where we're kind of used to using that from anything else like Illustrator, Photoshop, and all of that kind of stuff. We've always had our tools on the left, so we're putting them back over there. Click the button on the right side of the panel title bar, which is going to be this. Give your options and lock this. That will hold it all in nicely in place for you. If you find that your library panel is too wide, collapse it down a little bit. We want to keep everything somewhat to a minimum, but we do want these panels to be available. We're going to be using the properties panel quite a bit, so we do want that to be up, but make sure that those panels are at the smallest width. And we are going to click on that workspace switcher, and we are going to say new workspace, and we're going to name this new workspace portfolio, and click OK. I've already saved that. I'm going to replace mine. I'm going to say OK to that. And I now have my workspace saved. And the way it's going to change is we're going to be things like, let's go to developer. Everything changes. You can see it looks a whole lot different when we go back to our portfolio that we just selected. Everything pops back, and you can continue on exploring the Animate document window. Note that simply by scrubbing, not everything is going to play. Okay? Make sure you note that. We have to play these items properly by pressing Control Enter. I've created an SWF file which is going to play, and you will see the difference because now we have the fire working, we have the temperature changing on the word play. We also have the action going on in the water, not just his tail and his hand moving. We close that, go back and do the scrubbing. You can see the difference. You don't get all of the action. This is different from working with After Effects. You don't get to see all of the motion if you just scrub the timeline. Remember that. That will be important.